Hey, Taurus, let's go ahead and see what's coming up for you in the month of November. What's coming up for Taurus in the month of November? Let's see. What's coming up for Taurus in the month of November? We have the Four of Pentacles. We have the King of Swords. Five of Wands. What's coming up for Taurus in November? Three of Wands. Eight of Pentacles. The Knight of Cups. The Page of Wands. Okay. The Three of Cups. And the Six of Wands with the Two of Swords underneath. Okay, so let's look at these energies. By the way, if you guys do support my channel and appreciate the time and energy I put into these readings, please make sure to react to the video. Drop a comment, even if it's just an emoji. Share the video. Make sure you're subscribed. I also have videos that I'm uploading weekly on Facebook, and I'm about to open a subscription on Facebook. So make sure you click the link and see what all I have to offer, okay? All right. So let's take a look at these. We've got, let's see, the Two of Swords, Tower. See, this is very similar to the reading that came up for the Facebook reading, except that one was smaller. This one is on a bigger scale. Two of Swords is about making a decision, and whatever decision you took, either it fell apart or it surprised you. You may even be surprised with the decision you take. Like you're shocking yourself. With the Chariot here, whatever decision you take, even if it falls apart, I see you determined to be like, okay, that wasn't the right direction. If you're surprised, if you're on the other side where you take a decision, you're surprised with the decision you take, I do see you being very determined to see it through. Feeling, that you're learning as you go. Fate and destiny are kind of guiding you. Yeah. Ooh, Ace of Pentacles and the Lovers. Okay. All right, Taurus. So, let's see. Let's look into the rest of the reading. Four of Pentacles. We start off with an energy of someone kind of locking themselves in a room. But they're not just locking themselves in the room because they want privacy. This is somebody who has bolted the doors because there's something that they're safeguarding. This could be their money. This could be their time, their energy. Whatever it is, you're protecting yourself. You feel you are protecting yourself. King of Swords, I think what you're trying to do is operate out of logic. What's interesting to me, though, is as this reading progresses, it's like you're stepping into a more youthful energy. You start off with the King of Swords in the first row. Second row, you're the Knight of Cups. By the third row, you're the Page of Wands. So I feel like here you're in a really rigid, that sounds really bad. You're like in a rigid, almost narrow-minded stance. And it's creating a lot of conflict. It's creating maybe conflict even within yourself. To the point where by the time you get here, you're opening up, like you're softening. Energetically, I'm feeling like, this is gonna sound so stupid, but this is what I'm getting. Just go with it, okay? Here, I'm seeing like a frozen piece of butter. I know that's weird, but it is what it is. And here, it's like it's thawing out. And by the time we get here, it's smooth and creamy, and it's just, where you can just spread it over something super easily. So that's the energy I'm getting. And so I'm gonna look at the other cards, but I'm just saying just that itself spoke to me in that way. So I do feel like you're softening up towards something, or you're thawing out towards something, because whatever you're doing here, the closing yourself off, or what you feel is protecting yourself, being harsh, being cold, it's creating a lot of conflict within you, or it's creating a lot of tension within you. Because Three of Wands, I think you're waiting for something, or you're trying to expand towards something. We do have 8 wands here with the 5 and the 3. So you could be waiting for communication, waiting for somebody to communicate with you, and then it's not happening. But 8 of Pentacles, I do feel like the reason that you go from the King to the Knight to the Page is because you are working on yourself. You go from the 4 of Pentacles to the 8 of Pentacles. So if before you were only sharing 4 Pentacles, you start sharing 8. You start putting more time and energy. Although I think that the majority of these Pentacles you're putting into yourself, as you should. Where maybe here you were really stingy with your time and energy because maybe you didn't really have a lot of time and energy. And you had to set these really strict boundaries on like, I just can't. And here, maybe because you closed yourself off, now you have more energy. You're opening back up and you're kind of thawing out. And then by the time we get here, you're in a very, like you're filled with wonder. You're in the energy of, when kids want to go explore and they're kind of fearless. They're like, oh, look at that. And they want to touch everything, right? That's kind of the energy I'm getting here with the Page of Wands. Something a little bit more childlike, not childish, childlike. Childish is someone who's pouting, throwing tantrums. Childlike is somebody who sees the world with wonder, somebody who is amused easily, somebody who, is in touch with their inner child. So I feel like that's what you're doing. I don't know what's happening here. Whatever it is, it's fantastic because it is getting you into an energy that's joyful, an energy that is a lot more alive, a lot more joyful. Because look at the 3 of Cups right next to it. Like it's celebratory. It's happy. It's about, yay, we made it. This is great. It's being a lot more celebratory, right? Now, we do have 4 cups here. I'm not really sure. I don't know if you guys can tell, but there are 4, 3 times. 4 of Pentacles, 4 wands with the 3 of Wands and the Page of Wands, and then 4 cups, 3 of Cups and the Knight of Cups. For some of you, that's going to be significant. If you're into numerology, look up 444 meaning in Google and you'll see. I feel like there's a message there that's going to resonate for you. But we also have 3 swords. So you might have been at this place because you were heartbroken. You might have been in this place of like being really harsh and rigid because you were trying to deal with pain. You were trying to deal with what you were feeling, even though I do want to point out that the 3 of Swords, everybody addresses it as heartbreak, but the really unusual thing about the 3 of Swords is that it's swords. Swords are our thoughts. It's communication. It's our head. It's not our heart. So what breaks our heart is what we are telling ourselves happened in whatever situation we're in. Keep that in mind, okay? Because like, let's say, I'm going to give you an example so that you understand my rants here. So let's say that you have a friend that you entrusted them to run a shop for you, right? And they might have stolen money from you. And you end up heartbroken because of that. But because you interpret their actions as, I don't mean anything to them, I am of no value to them, they don't appreciate what I've done for them. It's the thoughts that come from that action that are torturing you, not the actual action. Because if you spoke with that person and you realize that maybe they have, like maybe their wife has cancer and they've run out of money and their children are starving and they're desperate, you would understand that it wasn't about you, it was about what they were going through. So heartbreak usually comes from the things we tell ourselves about whatever actions somebody else took, okay? Now, where was I? Oh yeah, 4 cups. This could also be that for a long time, while you were in this energy of Four of Pentacles, you were also in the energy of apathy. You were in the energy of like numbness. You felt dissatisfied, and you felt, yeah, like nothing was good enough. Nothing could pull you out of this energy. So whatever work you're doing, that's why it's at the big fat center, because whatever work you're doing, it's paying off. It's softening you up like butter. 6 of Wands. I think a lot of it has to do with just how you feel, in the sense that here you had a lot of tension, you had a lot of conflict, inner and outer, I believe, because when we have inner conflict, we're going to be fighting with everyone else around us. So with the 6 of Wands, it's a progression, right? Because, okay, so I'm very much about the symbolism here. So I'll get to this in a minute. Give me a second. 5 of Wands goes to the 3, which means 2 wands were taken away. 2 wands, the card of 2 wands is about decisions, right? Taking a decision. So you already made a decision that took off a lot of weight, which is why, or you just didn't make a decision, one of the two. And that's what puts you in a more softer state. And then you decided, instead of deciding between 2 things, you make a decision, you just move towards one, approach it with this energy of, what the hell, let's just go for it, right? Going to the 4, exploration that's connected to expansion, it's connected to movement, it's connected to being excited, because it's the 4 of Wands is Aries Venus, right? It's like a thrilling, passionate connection, leading to celebration, leading to 6 of Wands. So we add the 2 of Wands again, but this time it's coming from a much more stable place. So a decision is being taken, but this time you feel really at peace. You're not in conflict anymore. You are confident. You are knowing what you want. You're comfortable with yourself, and therefore you're not embattled with other people. Does that make sense? I feel like I just went all over the place, but anyways, I hope y'all could follow that. So let's get some clarity on these energies here. Let's start by clarifying the 2 of Swords. I'm going to scoot it over a little bit so it can be on camera. Clarify the 2 of Swords. Okay, we get the 10 of Cups, the Tower. Clarify the 2 of Swords. And the Ace of Pentacles. Wow. Y'all remember that right beneath the 2 of Swords we had a Tower, right? So I feel like, okay, so then this applies mostly, I feel like this applies 2 different ways. I feel like I'm talking to 2 different groups of Tauruses. So let's do this. 50% of you, you took a decision that turned out to be really toxic, turned out to be really, like really suffocating even. And it fell apart because you realized you thought it was your happiness. It is not your happiness. And whatever you saw in possibility kind of crumbled. For the other 50% of Tauruses, I feel like you're the ones that end up surprised, because 2 of Swords is about a decision that surprises you because there's something that you just can't let go of. There's something you're almost obsessed with. 10 of Cups, it brings you a lot of happiness, and you see with the Ace of Pentacles, because look at this huge ass pentacle. That's a big ass pentacle. You're seeing it as so much possibility, so much potential to become something amazing, because this is a seed, and it's the only suit, because we have Swords, which are the mind, Wands, which are energy, passion, and we have Cups, which are emotion, but Pentacles are actual tangible actions, which is why earth signs are so in touch with that, right? So This is about taking a decision that's going to bear fruit in your life physically. And I think it really took you by surprise what it is that you decided, or what it is that you wanted, what it is you can't let go of. Let's look at the Four of Pentacles. Clarify the Four of Pentacles. That's for the overall energy, right? I feel like y'all are split. Let's see if the rest of the reading is equal or not. Clarify the Four of Pentacles. And there's the Four of Cups I was talking about. See, I saw it here, but I knew it was connected to that, and there it is. This is why I trust myself. Okay, so Three of Pentacles. This is, I feel like this is connected to the reading on Facebook, so make sure you go watch it. Three of Pentacles, I feel like you were like, oh, I have a really strong foundation. For those of you who made a choice and it didn't pan out, it's like, oh, I had a really strong foundation here. That's the route I'm gonna take. That's the decision I'm gonna go with. And you held on for come hell or high water. Now, Eight of Cups indicates that emotionally, you may have left something behind to be able to, hold on to this. But, so whatever you left behind, well, this feels like two different energies though. Okay, so for some of you, whatever you left behind kind of mentally stimulated you. It might, like, let's say this was two jobs, right? Because I did use that example on Facebook. If this is two different jobs, one job mentally stimulated you. Maybe it had to do with, I'm trying to think of a job that mentally stimulates you. Maybe it had to do with something about finding patterns and sorting things, and it was very rewarding mentally. And then another job, the other job was very stable. It was very secure, right? You felt like you had a really strong foundation there. So that's the one you went with. But then once you're there, you're really dissatisfied. Four of Cups, it's like, I miss when I would, because I feel like this maybe wasn't stable, but it was very rewarding emotionally. And so now that you're with the stable option, you feel a missed opportunity. You feel like, you know what, maybe I did have a stronger foundation here, but you might have already quit, right? You might have already let that go. Let's look at the King of Swords. Clarify King of Swords. We've got the Six of Pentacles, the Emperor, and the Queen of Cups with the Page of Swords. Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that, you know how I said 50%, 50%? I think that that's actually 100%. It's just in different order. So the decision you took for what you thought was your happiness, what you thought was something stable, turned out to be toxic, turned out to be unstable as hell. And then the other option that you're surprised was like, wait, was that the right one? Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. So it's 100% all Tauruses. It's just in different order, right? Okay. So King of Swords. Like I said, I think you were coming from a place of whatever this stability here was. The King of Swords is someone who holds himself to a really high standard. So that might have been a job that, although it was a little boring, I want to say, with that Four of Cups, you also felt like, I owe a lot of loyalty to it, because the King of Swords is someone who he holds himself to such a high standard. Like maybe it was a business of a friend who was there for you when you really needed help, and you're just like, I just can't. Even if the other job is mentally stimulating, I have to be here, right? The thing is, as you made this choice, right, you stepped into Emperor mode, like I have to hold myself to this thing of people are counting on me and yada, yada, yada. And the Six of Pentacles, though, is letting you, it's like you feel, but it's not very rewarding. It's more out of obligation. It's more out of duty. And yes, there's there is love. So it could even be a family business. It could even be, like I said, it could be your best friend, somebody who was there for you in a really, really rough time. And you're just like, I have to be here. But the Page of Swords is when we're kind of cornered, or we're in a place where we're kind of putting ourselves into a corner. Eventually our mind will start exploring possibilities. And so I feel like you chose this. Let's say you chose this job, right? And then every day you go to work, your boss is yelling at you, and it's your best friend or the person that you really care about, right? Or it's something like that. And you're just sitting here like, why did I choose this again? And your mind kind of starts exploring the possibility of the other choice, which leads to a lot of conflict because you're like, no, like you want to force it to stop. You want to force your mind to stop, shut down, stop exploring that option. Let's look at that. 5 of Wands. Clarify 5 of Wands. We've got Temperance, Page of Pentacles, and the Fool. Interesting. Let's look at the bottom of the deck. And Judgment. So what's interesting about the other option, that other option was mentally stimulating, right? I feel like you made a judgment call. Well, I feel like there's two different things though. On one hand, you made a judgment call and you said, this is what needs to go, right? This is what is superfluous. I need to focus on where I'm duty bound, where I have obligations, where people are counting on me. And then the other part of you though, is you feel this call to it, almost as if divinity itself is pulling you towards it. So you start again, exploring the possibility instead of having all this tension where, you know, that saying, what you resist persist. You've been resisting, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, maybe the more I resist it, the stronger I get. Let's just explore the idea of blending with this company, of blending with this job. Part of what makes you uncomfortable is that in this one, where you're already established as an authority, you're the King of Swords, you're the Emperor. In this one, you feel more like the Page of Pentacles, out of your depth, like you're barely learning, like you would have to take a leap of faith. Like you feel like you'd be a fool if you went after this other option. Not sure why. Possibly because you are Taurus, you like being in your comfort space. And this would be definitely out of your comfort space, right? So let's see. Let's look at this 3 of Wands. Wow, we get the King of Cups, 4 of Swords, 8 of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Page of Wands. Interesting. Oh. So, let me tell you what happened, or what's gonna happen, Taurus, because this is futuristic, right? I'm looking at the whole month of November. So where you're sitting here in apathy and boredom, I feel like you're bored out of your mind. You're having to decide, because we do have 5 cups here, the 4 and the Queen. You have to decide if you're going to sit there hating every minute of this, or if you're going to have to disappoint somebody and have to grieve the disappointment, like grieve the fact that, well, I disappointed them, but 8 of Cups and the Queen of Cups, but I have to go for what makes me happy. So with the King of Swords energy up here and the Emperor, you highlighted the part of yourself that mentally detaches and that does what's right, regardless of what cost it has to you or to anyone else. You're just like, I can't walk away from this. So you stayed. Once you got to the place where you realized, maybe I made the wrong choice, King of Cups is like, okay, now it's about tapping into the side of yourself of your feelings. Over here, you let go of your feelings completely. You push them away. Now, with the Nine of Cups and the King of Cups, you're sitting there examining what actually makes me happy. And what part of myself do I have to heal that's making me push away what makes me happy? And that's what you start working on. Or that's what you will start working on. And the thing is, with the Wheel of Fortune, everything happened exactly as it should have. You would not have made these changes otherwise. You would not have. Everything happened as it should have. And then we get the Page. Then you go into the soft as butter. Soft as this creamy, creamy little butter. Because then you're in the energy of the Three of Wands, of expansion, of wanting to grow, of wanting to move forward, of not being stagnant. Here, there's Four of Pentacles, Four of Cups, there's a lot of stagnancy. Fours represent stability, right? So Four of Pentacles means it was very stable. Emotionally, also stable. But you know what? It was also stagnant as hell. Nine of Cups may not be as stable. In fact, to be able to reach the Nine of Cups, it's the 4 and the 5, which means that you're releasing the stagnancy, but you might have to disappoint someone. And that's kind of I wouldn't say it's a game that we play every day, but it's definitely a piece of us. Every day we have to decide if we're going to do what makes us happy or if we're going to do what makes other people happy. And if what makes us happy aligns with making other people happy, then great. But make sure to not put other people's happiness before your own. Okay, let's look at the Eight of Pentacles. Clarify Eight of Pentacles. We have the Hierophant. Ooh, the Devil. Two of Swords and the Chariot. With the Hangman. Whew. Wow, that got heavy real quick. So, when you do start exploring that concept of what makes me happy, I think part of what you're having to get comfortable with as the Hanged Man, you're having to start getting comfortable with the idea of possibly being seen as a traitor. Because I think with the King of Swords, the Emperor, that was what you're like, oh, nobody's going to say I ever betrayed the person that was there for me. When, you really held yourself to that standard of like, this person will never be able to say that I didn't appreciate what they did for me, right? But then the more you stay there, you're like, but this makes me unhappy. So how am I supposed to reconcile this? How am I supposed to move forward when I know that this does not make me happy? I'm going to have to disappoint this person. With the Hanged Man, they may see you as somebody who betrayed them, but you're like, but ultimately, you're also doing them a favor. Because you don't, if this is, let's say this is your friend who puts you as a manager so that he can go create another business, right? You may have to disappoint him. He may have to come back and run his own company who'll be like, this motherfucker, now I couldn't do this, now I couldn't do that. So for some time, that person may be disappointed, right? But ultimately, if they're still your friend, they're going to support you doing what makes you happy ultimately, right? They're not going to think of you as you're just a tool for them. Because if you're managing their company but you're unhappy, that's also going to reflect in your work. It's going to reflect in your performance. And you know what's the saying about, the best type of employee is the happy employee. So even if you had stayed out of obligation, you would have not been giving 100%. So it's almost better to be seen in this light temporarily when you know that eventually they can get somebody who truly aligns with their vision of company, right? Of what a company should be. So, Hierophant, if this is this company and you've been tied to it for a really long time and it's starting to feel really toxic, it's like the decision has to come to let go. But all this work that you're doing on yourself gives you the strength to do so, because you're getting to the point where you're like, even if I am considered a traitor, I have to do what makes me happy. So also, I think that the other company that did mentally stimulate you, did make you happy, I think that you're willing to go realize, because the devil is about realizing you can't let something go, right? It's almost like whatever this was, it might have been a video game company. It might have, it might have been something that other people said it's not practical. It's a really small percentage of the possibility of it actually working out, but you love it. And you're just like, I'm obsessed with that job. I want to work with this company. So it's also about making the decision to go for that and move forward. So it's a twofold, right? It's two things in one. All right, let's see the Knight of Cups. Clarify the Knight of Cups. We've got the Knight of Pentacles. We've got the Seven of Wands and the Page of Cups. With the Star. So I feel like here is a shift, right? By this time, you've already let this go, and you're moving towards being a much softer piece of butter. You're silky at this point. With the Star, you're healing, and you're full of hope. You're full of optimism. You're full of possibilities. With the Knight of Cups, like I said, it's very much being really excited. Like you're really excited about wherever it is you're going, because maybe before you left they had offered you a really high position, and now you're like, if I go back, that position might be open. Like you're starting to see things long term, 15, 20 years, what that position could do if you really pour all of your passion into it. With the Seven of Wands, I feel like you're ready to defend this decision. You know that maybe your parents aren't going to agree with it. Maybe your siblings aren't going to agree with it. Maybe your spouse isn't going to agree with it. Whoever it is that you have to defend against, you're ready. You're like, I'm not going to sit here denying myself what makes me happy just because other people may or may not support me. I'm going to do what I want, and their job is to support me. Page of Cups. You're wearing your heart on your sleeve too. You may come in to this company and apologize for having quit and just said, look, I thought you're going to explain the circumstances. I thought I was doing the right thing, but I honestly love your company. I would love to be an employee here. Are you willing to give me another chance and see where that goes? Let's, at least that's your hope, right, with the Star. Let's look at the Page of Wands. Clarify Page of Wands. 10 of Wands. That was a lot. Ace of Cups and the 3 of Wands. With the 8 of Wands. Wow, okay. So, quick change, quick turnaround. I feel like you are realizing this a lot faster than you think you will, because the Tower and the 8 of Wands here, things are going to happen very quickly, Taurus. So, although you are in the Page of Wands, it showed up twice. It showed up here and it showed up here. You are in the Page of Wands energy. You are looking at things with childlike wonder, being open to life, open to exploration, open to possibilities. It is a lot of responsibility to take this stance, but you're also taking this stance because if we break it down, right, we've got the 3 of Wands here, 7 of Wands here. Together they make the 10, right? Or the 6 of Wands with the 4 of Wands. Both are still a very good combination. I'm going to explain why. So, and the 8 and the 2, the 9, and like every time you break it down into a certain combination, it's still beneficial. So although it may be a little heavy, it's always going to work out for you. So let's break them down one by one, right? And I'm mentioning specifically the ones that are here on the table. So the 7 and the 3, the 6 and the 4, and the 5. The 5 isn't here twice, but let's say it was, right? Let's say the 5 was here twice. It's heavy only if you keep being embattled. The responsibility is heavy only if you fight yourself. So that one's scratched off. You don't want to do that anymore. The 3 and the 7, The 3 is about expanding, opening up to new horizons. 7 is about defending that decision. So that is going to be a little heavy, but again, it's worth it because you're in the energy of expansion. The 6 and the 4 of Wands, the 4 of Wands is stability. Because remember, 4s are stability, but there's different kinds of stability. There's financial stability, there's emotional stability where nothing is happening, or there's the 4 of Wands, which is something you're passionate about, but it's also consistent. It's still stable. And the 6 of Wands, feeling really appreciated, feeling really loved, feeling really seen and heard. That's something that might come with responsibilities, but it's also worth it. Do you see where I'm going with that? And then the 8 and the 2 of Wands is about plans. And 8 of Wands is about forward movement. So it's really, it doesn't matter which way you shuffle it. The 10 of Wands is usually very beneficial because even at times where it can be detrimental, this is letting you know, hey, this is bad. This needs to be adjusted, and then you adjust it. When it's something beneficial, hey, this is something that's reassuring because if you have this responsibility, it comes with these perks. You see what I'm saying? Okay, I hope I went off on a little tangent there, but I hope I explained myself well. And the Ace of Cups, whatever it is that you have your eye on, it brings you so much emotional fulfillment that, again, energy of expansion and movement. You're just like, I am ready. You are ready. By the end of the month, by the end of November, you are very ready for whatever this is. Let's look at the 3 of Cups. Oh, this reading got really long. Sorry. Clarified 3 of Cups. There's the 6 of Wands again, I'm telling you. Clarified 3 of Cups. Okay, I see. Okay. So, 3 of Cups. There is going to be celebration. There is going to be possibly a reunion with coworkers that you really enjoyed spending time with. It's going to be whatever it is that's making you really happy. It's bringing you joy. It's bringing you this sense of euphoria almost. Because 6 of Swords means you moved past whatever obstacles were in your way. Whatever it was that you felt you couldn't get past, you're getting past it now. You're very much in the energy of determination because it's worth it. The 6 of Wands twice. Wherever you're going, even if you are at beginner stage, you receive a lot of encouragement. You receive a lot of praise. You receive a lot of, like, you're truly seen. You still stand out. Even if you're at beginner stage, you still stand out from the crowd. Even here, they kind of fade into the background, and here you are in bright red, right? So whatever it is that you are pushing away and moving towards, you're moving towards it because maybe over here you had a higher position, but here at this other company, they truly see how hard you work. They appreciate how hard you work. They're always telling you, how important you are to the company, all the value you bring. And that's important. Our mental health is important. And this is definitely supportive of that. So with the World card, you're also aware that as long as you are consistent, right? As long as you keep putting in the work, this could go a lot further. It could bring you a lot of success. It could bring you a lot of, a strong feeling of completion and wholeness. Now, will there be moments of stress occasionally? Yes. But ultimately, we have 10 swords here. That has more to do with whatever ending happened over here. The stress occasionally you'll feel a bout of guilt, or you'll feel a bout of like, man, I hope I didn't hurt them too bad. I hope they forgive me one day. That type of energy. Now, let's see the 6 of Wands. Clarify 6 of Wands. We've got the Death card, the Knight of Wands, one more, and the Hermit, along with the 6 of Cups. Yeah, whatever company you're moving towards, you feel completely aligned with their values. You feel completely like it's a huge difference. I don't think people realize that a work environment can be so draining when it's not the right work environment. And I think that that's what was happening over here. Although you did feel a lot of loyalty, a lot of dedication for the people that created that company, it was draining you. It was stable because you knew that they would never fire you, that they knew you knew that they would never let you go, but the work environment was hell. Whereas over here, you may be a starter, you may be a beginner, but it's fulfilling. It emotionally satisfies you. How do I put this? It makes you passionate. It makes you excited. You know, that feeling of like jumping out of bed in the morning because you're going to a job you love. That's this type of energy. It's a total transformation. Your whole life is about to change. So with the Knight of Wands, again, it's that passionate energy. You're ready. You're ready. You're in this energy of, before you were in the energy of exploration. Now you're like, let's go. Feeling all gung-ho, all juiced up, feeling passionate, bold about whatever it is you're doing. Because with the Hermit, you've realized you've got all the time you spent at this other company has given you a lot of skill sets that you're going to use here, just in a completely different way. So for a while, you may feel like the Hermit, where you're kind of finding your footing, but you've got the knowledge required and the passion required to move forward. So I think everything is aligning perfectly. Everything happened exactly as it should, Taurus, okay? Now, let's see what your final message is from the fairies. What's the final message for Taurus? What's the final message for Taurus? The final message for Taurus. Attitude. Okay. That's funny. I always think the image is funny. Okay. So it says keyword attitude. It says take a closer look at the way you interact with others. Stand up for your rights and put your ideals. Stand up for your rights and your ideals, but also honor other people's positions. What appears obvious to you may not be so obvious to another person. Go deep within yourself and ask, what is it that I need to observe within myself? We can choose to act or react to any situation. Do you fly off the handle when confronted with a difficult lesson? Or do you take a deep breath, center yourself, and consider what would be the best course of action? It is important to listen to the inner voice that knows that Spirit wants the best for you. Just ask for help and remember that every problem comes with its own solution. Your own inner self will be glad to whisper the solution to you. Sometimes it comes in words or thoughts of insight. Other times it comes as a message that urges you to have faith that the universe is moving energy around in order to manifest the perfect outcome. This is an exercise in trust and faith. Listen to all that you say and think all day long. Whenever a negative or judgmental thought comes in, immediately replace it with a positive thought. Remember, what you focus on is what you attract into your life, so carefully choose what kind of life you want. The simple act of placing a smile on your face generates a chemical change within your body that brings about happier feelings. Others will also react to you in a way that reflects how you present yourself to them. Remember to avoid judgments of yourself, others, or situations. Gather the facts, ask for divine help, and then listen for the next course of action. Okay. So maybe the decision you took was because you had a little bit of attitude towards something about this company, and this is asking you to reevaluate the position you had. But you'll naturally do that, as I can see throughout the month. So I think you're going to do really well, Taurus. I don't really know what else to say. I'm going to go ahead and end the reading here. I hope you guys follow me on Facebook as well. Please make sure to react, drop a comment, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.